first job ever was in this mall, Brookfield Square Mall. My first job inside Brookfield Square Mall over here was actually a barista. I made people's coffee. But that only worked out for like 6 weeks because I hated it. Sorry for the shaky camera. I hated serving coffee drinks because people would come in there, all these people from Brookfield, all these snobby people from Brookfield, and they'd be asking me to make crazy drinks. Medium, non-whip, tall, caramel thing with whipped cream, 2-shot espresso, and there was just too much to keep track of, and I just hated it, and everybody that I worked with had a bad attitude, and I had a bad attitude because they had a bad attitude, and it was just an absolute mess. But hats off and cheers to anybody that is enjoying being a barista, because I don't have those types of skills or patience or interest even in making coffee. Anyway, all right, so right now I am putting useless miles on my 911 because I have to run it out of gas so that I can fill it back up with some fuel treatment so I can store it for the winter. And I figured, since I'm just driving around aimlessly around my old stomping grounds here in Brookfield, Wisconsin, that I'd take you to a couple of places where I can pull some memories from and talk a little bit about where I came from, so maybe in case you're interested, you can get those types of answers. Obviously, a lot of people know me as a salesperson, sales guy, sales expert, sales everything, because I love everything that is sales. And although I don't have any real sales tips for you or actionable information, I just wanted to talk a little bit about where I came from. So in case you're on a journey right now and you're trying to, make something of yourself, and you're maybe trying to build an audience, or you're trying to make more money, or you're trying to think about how you can make more money, sales is a great option. Sales is a way that you can make as much money as you really kind of want to, but you got to start somewhere, right? And so what I want to do is kind of talk about my journey, how I ended up where I ended up right now, and hopefully maybe give you guys some encouragement or some inspiration or something. I don't know. But right now, I'm going to Chili's because that's where it all started. All right, we're almost to Chili's over here, bringing back painful memories of serving food and eating way too many of the tortilla chips. Believe it or not, I used to serve tables, and Chili's wasn't the only gig that I ever had serving tables. The funny thing about Chili's and every other restaurant that decided to take a chance on me was they never let me serve dinner. Dinner is where servers and waiters and waitresses make all their money, because there's drinks involved, usually more bigger tabs, and yeah, no one trusted me with the responsibility of serving dinner. I don't know why. It's bogus. But I think we're pulling up right now. The place looks like it's changed a little bit. Well, there's salt everywhere. That's a problem. But there it is. That's the Chili's that I used to serve at. Crazy, man. One of the things you got to know about my time at Chili's is that I didn't really quit. I got fired from Chili's for not showing up, not calling in more than once. I don't think I was the best employee. There's probably a reason why they didn't really trust me with dinner. They probably didn't even trust me to show up. So I worked at Chili's. I ended up getting fired. I ended up getting fired because I had way too many no-call, no-shows, and they probably didn't and weren't very happy with that, because when you have a job, you're supposed to show up. Supposed to show up on time, supposed to work. So, but at the end of the day, what I didn't like about Chili's is I only worked lunches because they didn't trust me to work at dinners. So what ended up happening is I would come in, I'd work like 4, maybe 5 hours, and I'd make 20, 30, sometimes $40 on a really like hefty, juicy lunch shift. And then I would leave for the day, and I'd go home, or I'd go, to the bar with friends and sneak out to go get drinks or something. And my life just wasn't really productive at all. I didn't have any traction. I had nothing going for me. I was really trying to pursue music at the time. The music wasn't popping off. It's like hard enough to make it as it is, and even harder to make it out of Milwaukee, or let alone Brookfield, Wisconsin. But that's what I ended up doing until I got fired. And when I got fired, I went home and I was complaining, and I was like, Mom, Dad, I got fired. I don't have a job. Like, what am I going to do? And I remember back to when I told my dad has been a salesperson his entire life, very successful man. And I remember telling him back in the day, Dad, I'm never going to be like you. I'm never going to wear a suit every day. I'm never going to be a salesperson. I'm not going to do that. And I ended up on Craigslist after getting fired from Chili's, and I just typed in sales. And I ended up finding a job that was door-to-door, but they didn't say that it was a sales job. They just said we were giving away free alarm systems and that you could make $225 per sale. So figured to myself, how hard could that be, right? So I ended up becoming a salesperson because I got fired from Chili's. So if you're thinking about becoming a salesperson, get fired or quit and then become a salesperson. The only way to really become a salesperson is to become a salesperson. And so that's what we did. We got fired. Oh, I should probably get like a holder for this thing. So what ended up happening is I got into my mom's car, because I didn't even have a car then because I couldn't afford one. And I took off down Blue Mound Road, and I made it to this office where I was going to interview for this door-to-door position. And I remember the guy, my sales manager, his name was Clint. He asked me, hey man, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was just like, boom, I had my instant answer, and I told him, I'm going to be on a yacht with Carrie Underwood counting money. That was back when I was 18. Suffice to say, neither of those things happened. I've not met Carrie Underwood. Really wish I would have back in the day. She was really the only celebrity I ever had like a real celebrity crush on. And I wasn't on a yacht with her, so I flunked there, but I did do really well as a salesperson. I ended up taking the sales position here from Milwaukee, and I ended up knocking doors all around the country, from here to all over Wisconsin, to Chicago, to Virginia, to Dallas, Texas, so on and so forth, where I really began cutting my teeth as a salesperson and understanding and learning, how to, actually speak to customers and how to knock on a door, how to handle an objection, how to close a deal, how to handle paperwork, how to ask for an agreement or a signature. And so being a door-to-door salesperson helped me out immensely as an overall salesperson, because it really just allowed me to understand how to communicate effectively with other people. That's what I think did the trick. I ended up doing door-to-door for about 8 years before actually jumping on the phones. I think one of the most powerful skills that I actually have is phone skills and face-to-face communication skills, because if I can't get you on the phone, I'm gonna get in front of you and then just use my, face-to-face like I'm used to, across the dinner table or the boardroom, to get a deal done. And so I think that if you have both skills and you know how to get people's attention using the phone, or vice versa by walking into their office, I think that, you're like a double threat, because you really know what you're doing. Right now, I am sitting in the parking lot of a Sprint store that I applied for a job as a sales position probably 15 years ago. And you know what? They shut me down. You know what I ended up doing? I ended up going down the street to Blue Mound, and I ended up getting a job at Chili's instead. After getting fired from Chili's, guess what I did? I went into sales, but I didn't go work at the Sprint store. What I did is went and knocked doors selling alarm systems down here in Milwaukee. Fast forward about 10 years of being a salesperson later, I ended up closing a multi six-figure deal with Sprint. Every time I drive past this Sprint store, I feel like it is so ironic that they turned me down for a sales position and I ended up years later closing a massive deal with them. Just because one door closes doesn't mean another one can't open, and if another one doesn't open, just keep on knocking the one that you're at. Who knows, maybe you'll close a Fortune 100 one day. So that's a little bit about me, about where I've worked and how I got into sales. And basically all I have to say about getting into sales is that all you got to do is get fired from your job that you're doing now. Go on to Craigslist, get hired, tell your sales manager you have unbelievably huge goals like dating Carrie Underwood and going on a yacht and counting money. I'm sure that'll get you the job that you're looking for. And then from there, just have fun, work hard, and make money. I mean, that's what we do. We make money. Anyway, I gotta go. This lighting probably sucks anyway. Till next time, y'all.